Dr. Arjun Dang, the CEO at Dr. Dang's Lab. We are also being joined by Prashant Tandon, the co-founder and CEO at Tata 1MG. Thank you so much for being with us today on the show. Prashant Tandon, I'm going to come to you first. The COVID tailwinds maybe don't exist. People are tired. There's a fatigue also when it just comes to getting tests done. Having said that, whether it's you, the recent tie-up that we saw with MedPlus, others have no choice but to be in a price war. There's stiff competition, discounts have come in. There are reports about how tests that used to cost 500-600 rupees are now costing 100-200 rupees. The pricing war that is also on, not going to augur well for all of your bottom lines. But first, just tell us what's going on. Are you seeing far fewer tests, and that also at much lower prices?
So I think on the contrary, what COVID tests are down, no doubt about that. But what COVID did was that people are now more conscious about their health in general, number one. And number two, the getting their tests done at home is also something they've gotten used to. So what we are seeing, at least at Tata 1MG, is a continued strong growth. So we did not see a dip. The COVID tests have, of course, barely happening these days. It's significantly lower than what it used to be. But the general preventative packages, your regular health checkups, your diagnostics, pathology that you need, that I think is a secular shift that has happened, and it will sustain. At least we are seeing it grow pretty well.
Dr. Dang, as competition is intensifying in the industry right now, pricing power is also getting impacted. I mean, you get so many of your, WhatsApp forwards from the pathology labs wherein prices have already been slashed. There are monsoon offers. It almost feels like, this is some clothing retail, industry, which is actually trying to lure their consumers right now. Tell me what's happening on the ground, business-wise. Is pricing power getting impacted? Are incumbents trying to capture more and more volumes? Because the industry clearly is witnessing a lot more discounts, like I just mentioned. So how is it that you still manage to stay afloat as a business?
Thanks for having me on the show, and very relevant question. And everyone's been talking about this and the pricing competition that has come in. But one thing that I'd like to make abundantly clear is that since we've been around for close to 4 decades, competition has always been there. It's just that with the entry of newer firms and newer organizations jumping on the bandwagon, this competition is more loud and more visible. I think with the huge amounts of marketing budgets also that these companies have and the huge amount of cash burn models, I think a lot is going into this marketing. Obviously, the newer entrants into the segment also to gain entry and acquire a patient or a customer is by lowering their prices. Now, obviously, these lowered prices might not be sustainable in the long run. In a lot of cases, these are also promotional pricing offers that are there. But the interesting and the good point about all this noise is that through COVID, the patient themselves is more aware. That keenness of good health, that being conscious that Prashant was also talking about, I completely agree with. The masses also understand that the same test can be done at a fraction of the cost by a different method, and obviously depends on the quality of the reporting as well. So yes, there is pricing competition, but when the consumer or the patient realizes that the diagnostic cost is about 5 to 8% in their entire healthcare expenditure, in the entire life cycle, they also understand the downside of getting the diagnosis wrong as the first step. So they will definitely be discerning on that.
Prashant, you tell me, I mean, is discounting, lower pricing approach the only go-to in this competitive environment?
So I think what's happening is definitely a lot more people are in the market. A lot more players are in the market, and everyone would like to showcase their offerings and generate more and more trials. Having said that, I think the pricing in this sector is going to be disrupted. I think that is going to hold. I totally agree with Arjun when he says that this is a sector where quality comes first. It totally does. And I think what we are seeing, there are two shifts happening. One is the entire movement towards more organized players with quality standards, accreditations, etc., etc. So that bunch is going to get bigger and bigger. But fighting for that pie, we have more and more players come in. And if you look at any sector, I think this sector offers tremendous economies of scale and efficiency that process and technology can bring. And what we are seeing is there's immense scope for offering the highest quality at a much better price. So there's value to be created and shared with the consumer. So we feel some of that is definitely going to sustain. It's not just a one-time thing. Having said that, will the sector grow? Will all the players grow? I think organized players are going to grow in this sector for the time to come.
Dr. Dang, I'll come to you for this one. And, first up, as a resident of Delhi, thank you for everything that you do for all of us every day. We all know Dr. Dang's lab is one of the preferred choices when it comes to diagnostics. Having said that, you have also shown that while it's okay to have an app, it's okay to have a website, it's also possible, even in today's day and age, to grow a business which is not so dependent in the online world. You are primarily in the offline world. And is that the way you're going to go? And what does it show for the diagnostic space at large?
So thank you. Those are very kind words and appreciated from our side. So yes, it is a brand that was started as a brick and mortar kind of a model that we had. But over time, we have drastically metamorphosized into having an online presence that enables the patient to have that entire journey of getting a test done and also getting in touch with the doctors through the online portals that you have mentioned. Now, obviously, this is the need of the hour, especially for infectious diseases as well. But I also feel that the kind of pricing war that you're talking about and this increased commoditization that we see, it cannot be compared to, say, another sector like the telecom sector where the lowest price wins. Because healthcare and diagnostics being the first touch point is a sector that is built over years of trust and faith. And also that personalized connect with the patient that is extremely important. At the same time, we also see that wellness that makes up for about 10 to 12% or of the overall market size has a huge push on the home collection side as well. So to augment the digital platforms that we have for the patients to get their tests done at home is something that is an ongoing process. But otherwise, even for illnesses, patients usually like to. And that is what I also advise them is to visit their nearby lab so that the sample integrity can be maintained and the sample is processed within a few minutes itself. So yes, going forward, there will be abundant attention on both the online presence and having the offline brick and mortar structure as well for more illness-based testing. That is the lion's share of the market today.
Right. And Prashant, what is your folks' strategy going to be? Now you're under Tata Digital. In that sense, maybe more cash to burn for acquiring customers, but there are larger ambitions, whether it's to have physical pharmacies in almost every PIN code, to have diagnostic services in almost every PIN code.
So expansion is going to happen. We have set up 9 labs, including a reference lab in Delhi. And we are now covering 45 cities. So geographic expansion will continue. Our array of tests that we offer. And we are seeing that once you have the economies of scale kick in, the technology and process efficiency kick in, you can really make a meaningful difference in this sector. So we are very, very bullish and excited about our diagnostics business, and the rate at which we are growing, I think we'll continue to see it grow fast. And in terms of investment, we are investing in infrastructure and logistics right now. That's the big part of our expenditure right now.
Right. Okay. Arjun as well as Prashant, both of you, thank you so much for taking the time out and joining in today. Good to get in the perspective from a 360-degree view really on the industry.